Welcome to the Foxhole. I'm Nondor Fox Schaefer. I'm your host this evening. Thank you for tuning in to the launch day, the launch party of the Fabled Offering, my new sci-fi fantasy comic that I just launched on Kickstarter. This is a launch party, guys. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna have a good time, and I cannot wait to go over the book and go over the campaign, talk about everything that we're including in it. We're off to an amazing start. I'm so humbled right now and so excited about this book. I actually just got off a live stream launching it on the Pop XP channel. So if you guys would like to watch that. Watch me launch it. Look up Pop XP on YouTube and subscribe, and you can watch me launch it. I hit the button today. Everything's been leading up to today, which has been a long time coming. I've been started writing this book, I think, at the beginning of 2022, uh, and was able to uh, really put it all together and script it uh, by let's say summer or fall of 2022, and then started looking for artists and started that whole process of getting the book made. So it's been a little around about 2 years that I started this project and started this journey, and I can't believe we're finally here. It's I was really nervous launching this book because it's something new. It's something I've never done before. It's not the next issue in a series. It's not a next volume in a series. It's a completely new thing. So, seeing if people will respond to it, seeing if people who like my other stuff will migrate to this new book uh, is really interesting for me. And trying this experiment of, if people really like my work and like my writing, will they go over to this genre of science fiction and fantasy, which I think most people love. I think most people enjoy it, but uh, maybe they just like superheroes. Maybe they like Man-Child, or maybe they like supernatural books like Seasons, or maybe they want just a slice of life story like Lifeline. The Fabled Offering is none of those things. It's something completely different. But if you like my stories, if you like my storytelling, if you like the artists that I work with, if you like the kind of products that I've put out, then the Fabled Offering is going to be for you, definitely for you. And yeah, like I said, I just got off a launch stream with Pop XP, and even after the show was over, Niall was talking to me about the book and how it feels like a game changer for me and feels like the next level for me. So I really hope that's true. Got my fingers crossed, and hoping that this book will launch into the stratosphere and get people to check out Foxhole Comics and check out what we're all about and what my stories are all about. So I all right. We got Save as Doc in the chat. Hey Joey, what's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for backing. I saw that you had backed it already. We're off to a super strong start. I'm gonna get to the numbers and we'll talk about where we are. Thanks for joining me tonight and being a part of the launch party in my foxhole. So here we are having a good old time. And I know I've talked about this on other streams, but I do not have the luxurious setup that I have had in previous live streams and previous videos that you've seen. Um, but I like this. It's closer. It's more. I don't know. The mic's kind of in my way, but you got to work with what you got. Otherwise, I would not be using this space for anything else, and that seemed like a waste of a room. So uh, we are here. If you're joining us now, I know we have some viewers. Please, if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter or X, my bad. then let me know that you're watching and let me know that you're here and that you're joining me in this launch party for my new sci-fi fantasy book. This is a big day coming. Like I said, it's been about 2 years to get here, so yeah, I was really nervous, and then I was also working with my graphics guy on getting all these graphics ready, and it was until about the last second we had everything where we needed it to be. So that was stressful today. And coming off of a late night, I got home from a concert last night and uh, barely got any sleep, maybe like 4 or 5 hours. And I was not able to fall asleep today because I was so stressed out and like nervous and wanting this to go well and to launch well. So, with all of that said, let's let's look. Let's see where we are. Oh, we got Ichthus coming in. Hey, what's up, Ichthus? Thanks for tuning in. Um, we're gonna look at an excellent book today. What I think is an excellent book, and that's my new comic that has just launched. Where's the campaign? Well, I'm about to show it. I You guys had to be graced with my face and my voice just for a few minutes while people were coming in as I catch everyone up. But I'm about to show I'm about to show it. So let's look. All right. We are at 16 backers and we're already over $500 and it's only been not even 2 hours since we've launched. This is incredible. This is really exciting. We're doing some really good numbers, guys. So thank you for coming out and for supporting the book. In less than 2 hours, we're already over $500. So uh, this is something. Thank you for gracing us, Lord Nando. Oh, yes. You're very welcome. And thank you for who would I be? Where would I be without an audience? So thank you for coming out and for being here. You've always been such a loyal viewer and watcher, and I can tell that my camera is slowly but surely starting to descend. But I think I fixed it now. By the time I would have got back to me, you would not have seen me, and that would have been pretty funny. But like this says, the art and coloring is just next level. Yes, I've been trying to get a hold of Marco and tell him. Marco Roblin is the artist for the series. I told him we'd be launching today, and I told him what time. And I was kind of curious if he'd be able to join me on the live stream, uh, but I haven't heard back from him. So I hope he's okay, Marco. If you have a book um, that is launching on Kickstarter, I recommend shouting it out on social media. Um, but everyone is loving your stuff, Marco. So if you watch this at a later date or you're tuning in, let me know that you're here. And yeah, so many compliments on the stream I was on previously, and yeah, I wish you could hear everything that people are saying. So Save His Doc asks, what would you say was a new challenge you faced during the writing process of TFO? Yeah, I love how we're gonna use this acronym because or abbreviation because yeah, I've been calling it TFO and like when I've been sharing files and stuff with like my letterer and artist, it's like TFO. So that's gonna catch on. Something that pushed you out of your comfort zone, perhaps. There were a lot of things that pushed me out of my comfort zone for this book. I approach or it seems like everything that I've done up to this point has been either a challenge or an experiment. So with Lifeline, it was like, how many people can I bring together for one story, but still have it be coherent and have a story about a main character, but through the eyes of different people? With Seasons, it's like this graphic novel series that is so huge and big, um, but has like so much to it. And like, will people come to that? Will people follow that? Follow this like year long story um, that we would try to be uh, invested in and try to get into, and then like somewhat of a superhero story, but not really, more of a supernatural story. And then with Manchild, it was this kind of meta narrative of uh, superheroes and what it means to be a superhero fan. And then with the Fabled offering, I just got done sort of mentioning this on the previous stream. Was why it's somewhat counterintuitive to make a one shot introducing a new world that is so complex or has a lot of world building aspects to it that I know that like while I was writing it, because you have to have context for everything that you're trying to put in there. And there are things that I was playing with in my mind, but that isn't necessarily on the page. But if I ever needed to get back to it or give a reason for it, I could. But trying to do that in what is now 40 pages, it was originally going to be about 30 pages, so 32 pages. But as we were working together, Marco and I, it was like we need to we need to expand this a little bit more. We need to give this some more room to breathe. So trying to condense everything while still making it not just this huge story, but being a self-contained story in this larger world. That was the challenge because we're not on Earth. We're not dealing with regular people. We're dealing with different species, a whole other kingdom, a whole other way that this world operates, and we're making up new words and we're making up things that don't exist. But hopefully, people will still be able to like find some familiarity with it. So um, that was definitely a new challenge, and then something that pushed me out of the comfort zone would be the world building aspect of it, because when I'm building all this stuff, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I know this is necessary for me to write this, but if the reader isn't going to, if I'm not going to exposition dump the reader, I have to do all of this work that most people aren't going to be able to see, or in the finished product. And so that was a struggle for me because everything that I want to do, um, I want to like make it meaningful for the story and the product and all the time that I'm spending. I want to be able to put that into the book itself and the product itself so that I'm not just like over here daydreaming about the way the deities work in this world that like no one will care about. But for me, it's going to help me. So like trying to understand that for myself as a writer, and that not everything that you think about necessarily or everything that you conceptualize has to be on the page, and you have to trim that fat off. And it was that tug of war between character and lore, or like character and plot more so. So that was, yeah, that was something that really pushed me because i I didn't want to do something that people would see and just be like, "Oh, he's just taking that from that and taking that from that." I mean, we all pull from everything, but I wanted to do something that was like, you can read this story. I hope you want to know more about the world, but I'm not going to just flood you with information. Ichthus says absolutely phenomenal. Is TFO the project code name? Yeah, you could call it that. I mean, this is the shorthand. It's what we'll call it if we get tired of saying the fabled offering all the time. Um, like it just works. TFO, like UFO, but TFO. I enjoy your out of breath series. Huge respect for you running 5Ks. I die within 1 mile exact. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, if you guys don't know, I just started recently doing a TikTok, YouTube short Reels series, where they're just these 1 minute videos where I talk about working out and writing. And I haven't done one in a couple weeks, so I'm guilty. But it's a non accountability series where you just write and you just work on um, yourself, and you are talking about writing and working out and the similarities between the two. And I love to run. It's my favorite way to work out. So I wanted to do something that like what how do these two relate? And what are some disciplines or things that I've learned about working out that could apply to writing, or writing that could apply to working out? And it's been fun. I've only put out maybe 5 videos, but yeah, find me on TikTok, Foxhole Comics, YouTube, Foxhole Comics. But thank you for watching, Ictus. I'm really glad that you're enjoying those, and that's something that's definitely out of my comfort zone. So it's been uh, it's been good. It's been good for me, and I'm doing it very selfishly. The accountability aspect of it, of trying to put out content, and that reward of putting something out that people can see and update people with, kind of keeps me motivated. Save as Duck says, me imagining a TFO Lord guidebook like a Star Wars visual dictionary. Ooh, yeah. I love those growing up, and I have a lot of them. And I have a lot of the ones that are just for the characters and species or the weapons and vehicles. And so those are really cool. And when I was pitching the book around to artists and trying to show them what I had in mind for it, I made an entire visual document that went through each character and the world, and just kind of like a bit of a lore book, or a Bible of sorts, but mostly not necessarily getting into the weeds, but just trying to uh, convey and articulate the kind of visuals that I was looking for each character, and what the world should feel like, what it should look like. And I drew a lot from the old Republic stuff in Star Wars. That's for what I really want it to sort of feel like. Even some High Republic stuff, but um, when you go to the old Republic, it even though it's a part of Star Wars, it almost feels like a separate universe, and I love that. I love how it kind of plays by its own rules, and it feels like its own thing. Ichthus says we're making up words because big corporations will be trading marking words. Yeah, right. Caden says world building can be pretty fun, but it can definitely stall you for sure. Yeah, Caden, you would know all about world building. You're kind of aficionado when it comes to world building, but um, I've noticed, and I had to stop myself from uh, trying to get caught up with that, and actually do the work, and actually like how does this actually apply to the story I'm telling? Because I need to funnel all of that into this one story. So sometimes I'd just be like, well, that doesn't apply. Like there's something there, and I would love to follow that down the rabbit hole, but it just we just can't do that right now. We gotta wait. We gotta see um, what how people respond to this story. So let me refresh here, see if we've gotten any new backers. We're at 16 backers right now, still at 16, which is still pretty awesome. So I'm excited. I'm going to share the video with you guys. This is going to be my pitch to you if you're watching, and you can tell me what you guys think. The Fabled Offering is a 38-page sci-fi fantasy one-shot epic about a lone princess on a harrowing quest to save herself and her kingdom from her own past trauma. Attempting to reach the peak of Gephyra Mountain while carrying her unborn child, Grand Princess Aurelia of Telindius will stop at nothing to meet the ancient Sizen aboard their starship, the Aegis. Will Sizen accept her offering? Hi, I'm award winning comic book writer Nandor Fox Schaefer, and the Fabled offering is a project I've had in the works for over a year. Born from my lifelong passion for the science fiction and fantasy genres and properties such as Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Isaac Asimov's Foundation novels, Dune, the Seven to Eternity comic book series, and RPG games like Elder Scrolls and Dungeons and Dragons, the Fabled offering is everything I adore about sci fi and fantasy poured into one story. Written by me with art by Marco Roblin and lettering by DC Hopkins, we hope to bring you a mature tale about trauma, sacrifice, and the power of choice in the face of fate and destiny. We have astonishing variant covers to choose from, art prints, Kickstarter exclusive rewards, and very exciting stretch goals waiting to be unlocked, including stickers and trading cards. This is my sixth Kickstarter campaign, and you can count on us, this campaign will be fulfilled. Please pre order your copy today so we can get this dream book of ours into your hands. The Fabled offering now beckons you. There we go. We're at 12%. 12% in the first couple of hours, which is really exciting, guys. So thank you. There's a few things I want to touch on. Um, but first, like that I wanted to touch on that video mentioned. But first, I want to go over the campaign page and just give it a brief overview. So we got the logo here, which is by Christian Dokolomansky. And Doko Makes Comics is kind of what he goes by on social media, but I absolutely love this logo. I sent him a lot of references to, other properties like the Old Republic stuff and Lord of the Rings and trying to find the right font. While also, like, a challenge with this book is you look at it and it looks more like a fantasy book than a science fiction book. But when you get into reading it, you'll start to notice the underlying science fiction that the story unravels in. So I love like how, like, for instance, fantasy. I love fantasy. I'm more of a science fiction guy. So this is gonna pull you in if you're a fantasy lover, like just off the bat. But if you're a science fiction person, I hope that you will start to see some of these things like size and starship and um, the way time travel and how like Sizen is this time deity, this time ancient, and uh, I hope those aspects to it. And you also see this character here who she controls these three. Zoom in here. She controls those three drones or those like orbs, those like metallic floating drones. You don't see that in fantasy stories. That's a very science fiction type of um, I don't know, like equipment and like attachments that you would find. So trying to blend science fiction and fantasy into one story was another challenge for this book because um while I love fantasies, I'm like I said, I'm more of a science fiction person, and uh, I want to pull you in if you're a fantasy nut, but I want you to find the other layer to it and discover that, oh wow, am I reading a fantasy book or actually am I reading a science fiction book? And I'm getting both, like best of both worlds. That's what I'm looking for. I got greedy with this one. I wanted to, if I were to make one story, this was the last comic I could ever make, this would be up there because it's a complete story and I get to knock out fantasy and science fiction all in one fell swoop, and we got it. We're off to the races. So um this is the wraparound cover by Marco Roblin, and he's the interior artist. And here we have Grand Princess Aurelia standing in the middle. So um, if you can imagine right now seeing this book, uh, you know, one half of her in Sizen, who is the other character in front of her on the right, is going to be the cover, and then the back cover is going to be her holding hands with this other character, uh, and this other character who I will not. So that's Estrella to her left, and that is Gressic, who is in front of Aurelia and Estrella on the left. I'm not going to go into who they are, what their purpose is in the story just yet, because um, it would spoil things. But these are two incredibly important characters in the story, and so um, yeah, this encapsulates the whole vibe. If you look at this image and you're sold, it's all you know, cherries on top from here. It's just like we're piling on the frosting. If you're sold from looking at this image, then every page, and we're gonna get into the preview pages, you're gonna be like you're gonna be obese by the time you're done reading this book. We're spoiling you. I'm hoping to spoil people who love these genres. Savage Doc says the eldritch horror of the antagonist design is what draws me in the most. I want to know more about this wild dude. Yeah, Sizen is one of the most complex aspects of the story, and the most complex character in the story. And his relation to Aurelia and who he is. I mean, he is the goal of the story. He is, or they are, I would say, because Sizen is not just he's one person, but he represents three different timelines and like three different versions of himself. So I say they because he is other as well. He's a deity, and uh, he's not bound by our own like mortal conceptions, and he's other, he's different. He should not be named among just the common folk. Yeah, Sizen, and we'll get to a page here which is actually the opening page of the comic, and you'll see more about his other faces and what he represents. We got Dave Brink, Genuine Comics. Greetings, everyone. Hey, Dave. Thanks for coming in and checking out the Fabled offering and checking out the stream. Love having you. I love seeing your posts on social media. I really loved the one I saw today where you talked about you write because you're like you're not a speaker, and I that resonated with me so much because that is why I write. I don't I mean, you can tell I'm struggling just like doing the stream here. Uh it's a necessary evil for me. But uh that's why I write, because I really don't feel like I'm a very good speaker. And when I saw that post about that, I was just like, man, you totally um, hit the nail on the head there, because writing to me is communication. It's my form of storytelling and art and communication, and trying to uh, put across, communicate with other people, and put on the table things that I can't really articulate in a more informal setting. And so this book in particular is a moral tale. It's a moral fable. This is an ethical dilemma that Grand Princess Aurelia finds herself in. And uh, we're going deep. We're going hard. We're really um, trying to get into the depths of what the power of choice means, and sacrifice. And when an impossible choice is given to you, how do you respond? Uh, is there a right answer? Is there a right choice? Um, where is where's the moral ground here? And so that's something that Aurelia really. I mean, it's at the heart of the story. Her choices and her decisions. um, are going to take her places that she never thought she was going to have to go. But all that is to say, thanks for joining, Dave, and thanks for checking us out. But yeah, so we got the book itself is going to be around 40 pages, 38 pages, but I'm thinking about expanding it. Um, we'll see how the campaign does because after reading over the script, I was like, maybe we could add a few pages here if we wanted to. We'll see. We'll see where we go. I'm really happy. I think the script is as tight as it can be right now. But if this campaign does super well and we hit some stretch goals, I could definitely see us adding some pages. So we'll see what we can do. But yeah, if you're a fan of Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Seven to Eternity, Dune, and Dungeons and Dragons, you're going to love the Fabled offering. I want to highlight real quick and take a moment to talk about Seven to Eternity. Um, Seven to Eternity is an image book that Rick Remender and Jerome Pena put out. Gee, maybe like 7 to 10 years ago. Might be a little. I don't know. That sounds about right. But anyways, that book really struck me. That is also sort of a book that grapples with morality and right and wrong and inner conflicts that characters have to go through. And the main character, Adam um, Osidis or Osiris, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but uh, he's one of the most interesting fantasy characters that I've ever read. Especially in comics, and this is something that I love the genre, but I don't I'm not gripped by a lot of fantasy books out there. I like sword and sorcery, but I'm not necessarily in love with it. I like seeing it. I'm glad it's out there, and I enjoy it. But um, I'm not, running to the comic store to get the new fantasy book that's out. And that's not necessarily because they're not good. It's just nothing that's really catching me. And Seven to Eternity was one of the few books I remember seeing and going, that just looks like it was made for me. And I want people to look at the Fabled offering and go, this book was made for me. This book was um, had me in mind because Seven to Eternity, if you haven't read it, if you haven't looked it up, check it out. There's only 4 volumes, and I think the volume one is like $10. And it is a gorgeous book. I can real quick. Let's see. Yeah, so this is Seven to Eternity, and uh, so that's Adam right there, and this is the Mud King, and then this is Adam's dad and Adam's daughter. But it's a great story about family. It's a great story about sacrifice as well, and the moral complexity of um, facing impossible choices and stuff. So this was a huge inspiration. I think more than anything, just because this is a comic. Um, if I were to say what was the biggest influence on the kind of story I wanted to tell, it was this book. It's about 7 characters who are trying to escort the Mud King um, to this place where they can enact their own revenge, and it's about revenge and, um, like I said, the gray areas of morality. So um, it's it's really something that I would recommend to anyone. So after pitching Seven to Eternity, while I'm trying to pitch my book, but yeah, I just if you like Seven to Eternity, you're gonna love the Fabled offering, and you're also gonna love Star Wars. If you love Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or Dune or Dungeons and Dragons. So we get a little sneak peek of the covers here. This is gonna be this cover is by Will Pladen. This is cover B, and this was one of the first covers I ever got for the book, and this is actually started out someone as a concept piece. So if you want the very first let's say like not the first drawing of Aurelia, but the earliest drawing of Sizen and Aurelia together, um, with the ship that is above her. This is like the concept cover. This is what I would show Marco and the other variant cover artists when I would go, this is the vibe we're looking for. And this was done by Will Pladen, who traditionally painted this. This is all painted by him, and you can tell how they don't look exactly like the characters that we see in the book itself. But I love the cover so much. I love this art so much that I thought I want to make this available for people. So if you want sort of like this um like conceptual cover, this like you know, early stages of the Fabled offering, you could get this cover and be like, ah, I see where they changed things or they kept things. I wanted to keep it a part of this book because it was such a huge part of getting across what I wanted to do with the story. Hey, Johnny, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. Love your work, Nondor. Thank you, man. Thank you so much for coming here and hanging out with me. It's great to see you. I know we haven't talked in a while, but I hope you're doing well. And thanks for joining us. Go back to Fabled Offering if you haven't. Okay, Ness, have you checked out the Sacrificers? I've wanted to. I know you mentioned it to me the last time we hung out, and it looks like something that again um, is Remender, um, like touching upon morality and like a more complex fantasy universe that looks really good. And so um, I know the premise for it, and I love how it sounds, and I think the art looks insane. So have you read it yet? Like, what did you think of it? If you've read it, let me know. Keep it up, King. Thank you. Thank you. I've been called Lord and King on this stream so far. So, um, yeah, guys, this is in line with the kind of story we're talking about. Get those regal titles going. So yeah, this is by Will Pladen. This cover is available for $20, and it's a variant cover. So only very few amount of these are going to be printed in the initial print run. This next one was also traditionally painted by Cortez Flavio. And you see here, this was also kind of more of an experimental cover because I wanted to do something that you would look at this piece and you would go, this kind of uh, reminds me of an old uh, painting, that you would find that you would find lost in an art gallery or in ruins somewhere, and you would pick it up and you would look at it and go, what is this, like, what, and also, like, I thought, what if someone were to look at this painting and um maybe this painting was in the world itself, maybe this, somewhat meta in that way. Like, I wanted to capture uh like that timelessness of this story, and I wanted to kind of bring that into the story itself. And so that's kind of where this cover came from. You see the three faces of Sizen there, and you see how Aurelia stands in the middle of them with her hand on her stomach, uh, wielding her sword, and it's one of the most like experimental pieces that I've ever done with an artist, and it's very dark. It's very like, it feels aged and worn and tattered. So you can really like get the sense of texture from it. The next cover is by Ario Murti, and this is really fascinating cover and really different from any of the other ones that we've seen so far. And we have Sizen and Princess Aurelia. Like, are they Are they back to back? Are they, what are they grappling for? Um, and they're reaching towards this infant. But who is this infant? Um, as you can tell, Princess Aurelia is pregnant. Um, and so what is this baby to Sizen? Who is this to Aurelia? Um, and you see the ship is um, glowing. It's like tractor beam eyes is glowing down upon them as they're fighting, and they're trying to reach for this this infant. So uh, one of my favorite pieces because I love the mystery behind it and trying to like decipher what is actually going on here, and why are they reaching towards this infant. The next cover is by Ricardo Latina. This is uh, just an absolutely stunning cover that I, uh, man, like every time I look at it, every time I think about it and see the detail in it. And this is also the first time we see Princess Aurelia's horse, whose name is Anobicus. And if you can figure out how I got that name, um, let me know. So it's kind of a little nod to two characters and one creator that I love so much, Anobicus. So that is Princess Aurelia's horse. That is, and he's like a cybernetic horse. He's a technological beast, and he is featured in this story. And we don't see him on any of the covers except this one, and at least so far. I'll get to that later, but um, I in the background there, you see Gafira Mountain, and you see this star and these like spinning like energy surrounding it. Um, so that's important to the story as well. And but what I love about this cover is this is Princess Aurelia taking a moment to herself. She's been on this long journey, and it's a moment of sorrow. And if we zoom in here and we look at the rain that's pouring down, um, you see that it's actually made of blood. This is not regular rain, and it's dripping down upon them. And I think it just like narratively, it speaks to the mood and the image and what we're showing. So I really, really love this cover. It's the most somber of all the covers, and I wanted to, it's not all about showing this like badass warrior, killing people and taking them out. It's like an actual moment of reflection and pain, and seeing someone struggle and go through something that is really taxing on them, because Aurelia has to make this journey that takes a few months to get to this mountain. Johnny says, not sure if this is the place to ask, but I know you have been highly successful with all your self-published comics. Have you been able to always turn a profit? Yes and no. I guess it kind of depends on your definition of profit. Now, if like I imagine what you're probably thinking is um, fulfilling the Kickstarter, making that, shipping out the books. Am I making any money off of the Kickstarters? Not really, because all the money for the Kickstarter is going into the book, and if it's not going into this book, it's going into the next book. However, where you make the money is selling it at conventions and selling it on your store, or you know making a library for yourself. Comics, it's really the long game, I've found. And not just for me, for me it's the long game. And I never have thought I'd make a lot of money from them. I hope to, I would like to, but it takes multiple books, and it takes a lot of the hustle and the grind and getting it out there. But I just sold out of Seasons Volume 1. I don't have that book anymore. I don't have any physical copies of Seasons Volume 1 anymore, except my own. Um, and that came out in 2018, so it's been about 5, 6 years. And I printed nearly 1,000 of them. I think it was a little over like 600 or something. Um, and yeah, they're all gone, but that took like 6 years, 5 years. So if any of you guys have a copy of Seasons Volume 1 as a hardcover, I don't think I'm ever gonna print it as a hardcover ever again. So that's it. Um, I'd like to do a trade paperback, and that's something I'm working on, uh, figuring out, how I wanna incorporate that possibly with the Seasons Volume 3 Kickstarter, or just making a separate campaign for a trade paperback edition of Volume 1. But, I did a convention, a few weeks ago, and yeah, I sold it and sold out of it. But it took a lot of time, and I should have been doing more conventions. I should have been like pushing it more, but it's hard to do that when you're trying to like juggle multiple projects. I probably could have sold out of them much earlier if I wasn't working on other things. But um, I don't necessarily turn a profit with my books until like after the fact, after they've been made, after they've been shipped to backers, because everything after that is um is making, sorry, my AirPod like fell out. Everything after that is making your money back and trying to recoup all of the money that you've poured in. Um but take Seasons for instance. It was over 100 pages, volumes 1 and 2. That's over 200 pages. Um, if the art and the lettering, is $100 a page, I mean, that's $20,000. That's a lot. It's a lot of money. And uh, I've made over 30 to 35K on crowdfunding, but that didn't pay for all the books I've done. So, um, it you find it in different avenues than just trying to make all the money from the campaign itself. But sorry, that was a long answer to your question. Caden skimmed it. Yes, as you do. See, Caden says about the covers. I think this is what separates comics from other visual mediums. Sequential and cover art in comics is where you find some of the most diverse artwork in everyday life. Yeah, I completely agree with you. And I know we've had this conversation before, and I think I've mentioned this maybe on a previous stream or with other people on streams. Is like something I think you've said, Caden, is like, where did all the artists go? Like they're in comics, I mean, they're doing graphic design and they're in these other places. There's so many artists out there, but um, comics has been the one-stop shop of all different kinds of art styles, all different kinds of creations and creators, and from something very G and PG to something super mature. And comics like encapsulates all of that. Johnny says, "How do you feel looking back at picking your first project as such a long story with multiple volumes?" That's a really good question, because I started so big, and I've kind of, with every project I've done, I've gotten smaller. If you look at it, like Seasons is going to be 4 graphic novels, or not necessarily put out in 4 volumes, but over 400 or 500 pages. Let's say Lifeline was around 80, 90 pages, and that was a standalone graphic novel. And then I went to Manchild, and that's going to be a limited series, which will end up being around 150 pages probably. But I'm putting it out little by little, so it's different from putting out one graphic novel like Lifeline. And then Fabled Offering is my smallest book. It's only about 40 pages. So I've gone smaller and smaller with each project, And um, I've kind of done the inverse from what other creators do. They usually start really small and they go up and they go big. And so it's a different, like, I think if you have this dream project of yours and you can see yourself fulfill that and execute it properly, and you have that amount of confidence, then I think it can work. I think you can get that big project out there, but it's very intimidating. And it's taken years. I thought, by now I thought I would have at least I'd be nearly done with getting volume 4 of Seasons out, but I've had these other projects, and I've wanted all of these other projects to get people to Seasons because it's such a big book, that I've kind of spread it out differently. So I think you can kind of do your magnum opus, um, while doing other smaller projects in between, because hopefully you can use that as a strategy to bring people to each project. But I don't regret it at all. I think it's honestly really helped me because people have read 100 to 200 pages of my work, and they like what I'm doing, and they like what I have to say, and they like the kind of stories that I'm telling, and they're like, "Whoa, if he can do that, then I'm definitely going to back this, 40-page book because I already got this hardcover that he did." And I also sold it at a really cheap price. It was $20 for a 100-page hardcover, which is insane. Like, that's something I would recommend doing. Um, but I think it's definitely helped me gain that trust and that following, that people are like, Nondor isn't in it for the money, he's in it for the art. I would love to make money, and I want to make money, of course. Like, who doesn't? But uh, it's hard to talk about, and there's been this conversation going on with indie comics about money and art, and are you just doing it for the art or doing it for the money? And do you compromise for money, and conversations like that, because of what's trending or whatever? But um, I'm kind of, I feel like I had this plan, and I'm trying to follow through with it and see what happens. I'm sure you have loads of notes with hundreds of potential comics. How do you pick what project to invest and which to leave on your back draw? You know, uh, I'm gonna surprise you here, but um, I don't have a ton of different projects on the back burner. I have a few. I have some handful of ideas and things I've thought about and written down. Um, but um, usually I'll think of an idea, and I'm like, it kind of fits my business plan. It kind of fits the strategy of the kind of story I want to tell, and the timetable of campaigns, and other books I'm working on. I've had to think about it like that, kind of on a more practical sense. But I I think of an idea, and if it keeps nudging me, if it keeps bothering me, then I have to follow through with it. And I think I'm trying to think of, like like there's this one idea that I'm working on that I've had for a while. I think I had it maybe before I started writing Fabled Offering, or during I was writing Fabled Offering. I'm not sure, but um, I knew it wasn't the right time for it, because I wanted to do something. Like, I had in my head, I wanted to do a one shot. That's what I wanted to do. What kind of one shot could I do that would be really different, and interesting? And that's how, like, the Fabled Offering. It was kind of a necessary story for me to tell. It felt necessary. It felt like something that I had to do, and that was calling me. Like, stories, like you find stories, but stories find you. Like they tell you to write them. And so um it's all about timetable. You kind of have to look at it practically and like what you can do. But it's also I'm just you're just drawn to it. Like you can't get it out of your head. You can't get it out of your system. Um, and I'm a completionist. When I have an idea and I have a story, I'm like, I have to finish this idea. I have to see it through. I have to see what I can do with it, where I can go with it. So they kind of tell me like, "Hey, Nandor, I'm ready. I need you to write me. I need you to follow this through." It doesn't happen overnight. It takes a long time. I'm a very slow writer. It's something I don't like about myself. Um, but I have to see it through, and I have to like go through that creative process to try to um, you know, find the diamond in the coal and work it through and see what comes out on the other side. So yeah, this is by Ricardo Latina. This cover, and getting lost in my train of thought here. So this cover here, this is not the final cover art. This is by Marco Rudy. Marco Rudy actually came down with um, the bug, the virus, and he was at New York Comic Con and he came down with COVID, and he wasn't able to finish it in time for the campaign today. But he is working on it, and he should have it done, I think, by early next week. So we'll swap out these images and give you guys like the proper finished piece. But that's also going to be traditionally painted, and this is like the busiest cover of them all. We're showing all of the characters. We're showing Sizen's ship. We're showing Sizen himself on the right, um, where the sword actually plays a huge role on the cover as you see it emerging from the bottom. That like beam there, uh, that is the blade. That's the blade of Aurelia's sword. So this is I'm really excited to see how this cover comes out. But um, yeah, this is not the final cover art. We just weren't able to finish it in time, and we're gonna get this finished and we'll share it with you guys when it's ready. So here is the preview. You can read the first like 7 to 9 pages of the Fabled offering right now on the Kickstarter. And this is page one. This is our opening page, and here we have the three faces of Sizen, um, and we see the past, the present, and the future. Um, and you can see that on his ruby red crown of thorns, um, how it's continually dripping and dripping down. um, so this is one of the biggest characteristics of the character is this amount of blood that's pouring down, that is ever continually pouring down the veil in his face, and you see an eye in his mouth there. So one of the coolest characters to I think I've ever created, and one of the most like fun designs to mess around with. Really cool, and you can actually see. Oh wow, we're at 19 backers. We're almost at $600. We're at 13%. Wow, this is awesome. I was gonna say you can actually see this is Sizen's scepter or his staff. Um, and that's something that I forgot to talk about on Ariomurti's cover that we show. So Sizen himself has his own weapon, and this staff he can control from far away or close up. And there's a lot of design choices that went into each other's sword and their weapon of choice. So yeah, that's our opening splash page, and this was one of the most interesting and complex pages for Marco to work on and for me to script. It's a very heavy script. I think there's like 3 or 4 paragraphs for this one page of me talking about kind of how I saw it laid out in my head. And then we have this amazing two-page spread of Aurelia, this war scene, as this soldier uh, declares victory, and Aurelia narrates over this story. Yeah, this is such an awesome page. I know you guys; it's kind of hard to see. I'll zoom in here, but this is like such a beast of a page. And you see that big creature that's just lying on the floor there. Um, and Aurelia has two heads. Um, as she does her battle cry. And so yeah, really, really vicious battle. And this is the end of one war that the kingdom of Telindius has um, overcome. It's been going on for a long time. And then we cut to the present. This is Aurelia climbing the mountain. This was the first page I ever shared for this project. This is the first page that Marco ever worked on. And she's climbing the mountain Gafira and makes it. And we see that she's pregnant. Um, as she heaves up and um, takes a moment of rest to her destination, which is here Sizen's ship, the Aegis. And then we see Aurelia standing as she has made it to her destination. And she says, finally. So, right off the bat, we know that she is going to get to this destination, whether Sizen will see her or not, whether she will be chosen into his chamber, into his presence, whether he will accept her offering, all remains to be seen. And her motivation for whatever she wants, we don't know yet. So here's Telindius. This page here, that first panel, this is her kingdom, and we see these two moons, these two planetary um, objects in the sky, and we have Aurelia in prayer to their god Itzamna, and as she pleads to try to figure out who she is after this war. What kind of person is she if she is not a warrior? What's her purpose? And she asks that. She says, "Show me my new purpose." Um, I wanted to real quick. There is a page that is missing. I need to add it. There is another page here that should be here. So I don't know. I was having trouble with Kickstarter. Sometimes when you load images, you have to load them again before it takes it, or it like won't take multiple images at a time. So I have to add that page. But then we have this amazing shot of Princess Aurelia. This is a splash page in the book, and just a gorgeous, gorgeous image. One of my all-time favorite uh, pages. I love these pages so much. Marco, you're killing it, and everyone knows you're killing it, and everyone's been telling me how next level this is. So this is so exciting. And then here is another page of Aurelia making her way through the masses of people, and we see in panel one there, this is Sizen's ship. The bottom of it in that first panel. So that is the preview. This is what you're going to get with this story, and we're already over halfway done. I think we're on like page 24 right now, and like I said, it's like 38 pages. I want to let everyone know that in the first 48 hours, you're going to get this art print in your package for free. This is going to end on Friday the 20th at 8 p.m. Central Time, Central Standard Time. If you want this art print for free, you can get it right now. So I hope you guys will take advantage of this, and I hope you guys will get this art print by Rick Rother. And I love this. I love this piece because she's about to take out these other creatures, these orc-like creatures, and she's outnumbered there and about to take a swing at them with her sword. So this is yeah, such a great little art print, and you'll get it free in the first 48 hours. Otherwise, you can add it as an add-on. So, guys, we have the PDF for $6. We have the wraparound cover for 14. And it comes with a PDF. All of the rewards from here on out will come with the digital copy. Um, and it was a struggle for me to like kind of figure out how I wanted to price this because it's 40 pages. It's basically two comics in one. I would sell Manchild for $10 on Kickstarter, plus shipping. But Manchild was only 24 pages, and so I was like, I'm giving you basically two single issue comics in one." But I didn't want you guys to have to spend $20 to get this book. So I settled at 14 plus shipping, kind of rounds it out. And you guys, I still wanted to make it affordable for everyone. So I hope you guys think that that's a good price. All the variants, starting with cover B, are $20, and then we get to cover covers E and F, which are 25, and that's the Ricardo Latina and the um, Marco Rudy cover. And then you get a collector's edition that is signed with this Princess Aurelia art print that we'll look at later, and that is included in your order. And this is the variant of your choice, so you can choose which variant cover you want. That's $30. Um, I also have a collector's edition of the regular cover that you can pick up that is cheaper. We also have a retailer bundle for any stores out there who want to back this book at a retail level. And then we have your name in the acknowledgments where you can get your name in the book for $50. Then we have the original sketch. I always have this. And if you guys recognize any of my previous campaigns or have backed my previous campaigns, I kind of structure them all similarly because they work and it's something I know I can fulfill. But yeah, so you can get an original sketch by Marco Roblin, the artist of the book, and he'll draw you a sketch and we'll put it in your package. You also get your name in the acknowledgments, and you get the wraparound cover and the art print. So, and then you get an extra art print if you back in the first 48 hours. So definitely take advantage of that. And we have all the covers. So if you want to collect all the covers, you can, along with the PDF for $115, which is actually a deal if you were to buy them all separately. You can also get the Foxhole Comics bundle, which is cover A with Manchild issues 1 and 2, Lifeline Seasons volumes 1 and 2. Now, Seasons volume 1 is going to come as a PDF because, like I said, I ran out of hard copies, but you can still get volume 1. And if you want to read all my books and catch up on everything that the Foxhole Comics line has put out, my line, then you can. Last but not least, in terms of exciting rewards, you get drawn into the story. So, if you want to be a creature, if you want to be drawn into the book, you can in the Fabled offering. So, definitely check it out. We have add ons. You can add on the art prints and my other previous books with your order. All covers, art prints, and books in the Foxhole Comics library are available as add ons, as I state here. So, you can get all my books here. And this is the art print that will come in the collector's edition and every edition of the book from the collector's edition, um, and like your name in the acknowledgments and all of those tiers and up. So you will get um, Princess Aurelia here, drawn by Dustin Tyree, who is another local artist friend, just as Rick Rother is as well. So Um, love this piece. It's really beautiful. And Dustin even kind of took some of the um, what do you call the more like psychedelic colors and um, put it into the book itself. I mean the art print itself. So also we got stretch goals. So I'm really hoping we can unlock these stretch goals, guys. If we hit 5K, the goal is 4,500. If we hit 5K, we get Mitchell Abstracto's chibi sticker of Princess Aurelia, which is just darn adorable. I hope we can unlock the sticker. Every backer who backs at a physical tier will get this sticker in their package. So if we hit 5K, you're going to get this in your package. And then also, this is something I really hope we can hit as well. $6,000 stretch goal. We're going to get this Princess Aurelia trading card. This is artwork and design work done by Levi Hoffmeyer, one of my favorite science fiction comic book creators. He's a indie guy like myself, and I love his stuff so much. Check out his work. But he's designing trading cards for this. So I thought we're in a fantasy setting. We need some trading cards. We need to get fans of Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh and anyone who loves trading card games. They can pick up this, and it has a quote from Aurelia. It has attack and defense. We're still kind of tweaking kind of how we want the trading card to look, but I'm really excited with how it looks right now. So, um, you know, the image on the left would be, I guess the back of the card, and then the stats and description would be the front of the card. So I'm hoping we can unlock the stretch goal at 6K. We also have other stretch goals. I want to unlock the Ancient Sizen trading card. I want to unlock a Fabled Offering World map at 8,500. At 9,500, I would love to make a Mark of Sizen tattoo. So if you notice, if you look at, we'll get to the cover here where you can see it clearly. So Aurelia on her hands, she has this mark on both of her hands on the tops of them, and this is the Mark of Sizen. This um, is well, I won't get into how she gets this, but this is something that's really important to the story. And I thought it'd be so cool if like we could actually print a tattoo, like a temporary tattoo of this mark for people where they could put it on their hands if they want. So I thought that'd be really fun. And then going back to the stretch goals, we have the Fabled Offering black and white director's cut. And then for 10K, and then at 12K, I want to do a perfect bound deluxe edition of the book. So if we hit 10K, I'm going to make a separate edition of the Fabled Offering that's black and white. If we hit 12K, I'm going to make, instead of it being staple bound, like a regular comic that you would see on comic shelves, I'm going to make it perfect bound. It needs to at least be 48 pages with my printer for it to be bound that way. But I'm hoping to add some other cool little textures to the perfect bound edition. So I'm hoping, if we hit three times our goal, we can unlock all of these, and then we can hopefully get to more. But really hoping we can get to these stretch goals. I think we have some really exciting stretch goals, better stretch goals than I've ever had on any of my other campaigns. So also, if we hit 150 backers, every backer is going to get PDFs of these five comics. So we got Withered by Philip Bressert and Will Pladen. We got the Neverland issue one by Caleb Toussaint and Marcelo Biot or Biot. Knave of Hearts by Sarah Webb. Right here, image two. Abstracto creates Fantasy number one and Water Wars 2288. So all of these books will be sent to backers as PDFs once if we hit 150 backers. And then for every 25 backers after that, we're going to add another PDF of another like sci-fi fantasy indie title. So I'm hoping that we can do that. I've seen other campaigns do this, and I think it's really cool. And it's a great way to like share each other's work and also, get some exposure and see if you guys like what other people are making out there. Have my little pie chart. Pie charts are always important for Kickstarter campaigns. It shows where the funds are going to. Mostly all of the funds are going to printing and shipping. But we're also, the remaining production costs, including like formatting, design, and artwork, uh, what Kickstarter takes out, and then like shipping to Kickstarter backers. Usually a lot of my campaigns will hit around 1 to 200 backers. Most, and some of those are all PDFs. So I kind of, I'm gauging what my previous campaigns have done and how much it's going to cost. But the more we get, the higher we can get more books out and cut these costs down. And then there's just three of us. There's myself, Marco, and DC Hopkins, who's a letterer. And you might recognize DC's name from Manchild. He's the letterer and designer of my Manchild comics. And I asked him if he wanted to do this project too, and he said yes. So if you guys like the lettering in Manchild, if you like the design, it's going to look just as professional. I love what he's able to do, and he actually did all of these graphics too for me. So really good designer and one of the best people in comics I've been able to work with. So there's barely any risks. The script is completed. The artwork is over halfway done. I've done six. This is my sixth Kickstarter campaign. You're sure it's going to be fulfilled, and there's barely any setbacks, guys. We're not really worried about setbacks. Something that Kickstarter's done that I was wondering how we would do is like put images. Something that Indiegogo does, but now there's actually images for each reward tier. So if you're unsure of like what you're getting, you can always look at the pledge, the the reward you want to take, and then you can pick that and see what you're getting. So yeah, guys. Wow, that was a mouthful. Let's see where we're at. Holy moly, we are over $600. We're at 20 backers. It's been 3 hours, and we're already at over $600. So this is awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming out and backing this book. I mean, whew, this is so exciting. uh, we're really off to a strong start. I'm hoping by like waking up tomorrow, I hope we're over 1K. That would be insane. I know it's kind of late in the night, but I'm hoping like international backers will wake up and see the project, and people will back it before going to bed. And we can really get this book, launched. Have a strong first couple of days. I think we're off to a really strong start. I think stronger than any of my other projects have done in this amount of time. So that's a really good sign. I really excited about where we are with this book. And so I know it's getting late, but I wanted to celebrate this launch with you guys, and I want to thank everyone who's come out and who's been a part of this. Thank you all for putting up with all of my social media posts and my newsletters and my videos and things like that, and sharing all that stuff out. It takes a lot of work to get the word out for these books, and I couldn't do it without you, all of my fans and all my friends and family and everyone who comes out to support me. I thank you so much. Uh, I can't tell you how much this means to me. I say that a lot because I really can't. I'd have to write it. I couldn't really say it in words. But um, your support and your love for my stories and seeing this amount of support right now, um, it makes everything worth it to me. Because there are a lot of days where I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I making comics? There's no money in comics. I think to myself, have these conversations with other creators, and it's because of you guys that I keep doing this. I would not be here if it wasn't for you. So, really deeply from the bottom of my heart, I'm going to look at this camera. uh, Thank you for supporting my books. Thank you for being there. Thank you for watching me grow as a creator and for being a part of the story and all my stories. I can't say it enough. Thank you. All right, so This is it. We're going to end the stream here. This was a great time. I love talking about the campaign. I love going over everyone's questions. I know it's getting late, but I wanted to celebrate this with all of you guys. So thank you for everyone for coming out, everyone who asked questions, everyone who showed up and just, had a comment to say, I hope you guys will back this campaign. Like I said, there's some discounts in the first 48 hours. You can get issue one of the Fabled offering. Here, I'll show it to you guys. So, early bird, the Fabled offering number one, cover A. You get this for $11. You can get it for $11. I know I talked about how it was $14, but in the first 48 hours, you can get this book for $11. So, and then if you want the collector's edition that comes with the art print and that's signed by me, you can get it for 17 instead of 20. So you save a few dollars, and you really help support the book and get the book up to where it needs to be. We're already over $600 in the first 3 hours. We're at 20 backers. I'm loving these number guys. I love these numbers. I love seeing this. Thank you all for coming out and for supporting my book and for making this a really strong launch. I'm so excited about it. Um, and I cannot wait to share more art with you guys. I'm going to be sharing more art in the updates. I'm going to be sharing it on social media. I'm going to be blasting this all over I can, wherever I can. And I hope you guys will take advantage of the early bird deals. You get the free art print in the first 48 hours. You also get um, the book itself at a cheaper rate and also the collector's edition at a cheaper price. And I would really highly take advantage of those. That the algorithm for Kickstarter, if we can hit, 20%, 25% in the first 24 to 48 hours, we're on our way to funding. And I really hope we can make our goal of 4,500. I hope we can hit those stretch goals. We have to keep pushing this. Please share it. Please share it with all your friends, all your family, all your comic book friends, and anyone who loves science fiction and fantasy. This book was made for you, and this book was a love letter to everything I love about both genres. I can't thank you all enough for being a part of this. And I know I keep saying that, but it really means the world to me that you would come out and support my project and that you would be here. So I've said my piece. I've had this great launch party with you guys. We are off to such a strong start. I hope we can keep it up. Please keep sharing this campaign out. If you can up your pledge as we go through the campaign, as we get closer, please do that. No funds are taken out until the end of the campaign. If we do not hit our goal, the book will not be made. So I hope you guys will please support it, help us hit our goal so that we can get this book to you. We have a lot of options, a lot of great art, a lot of great artists came to this project, and I've been working on this for almost 2 years. So being here is it's surreal because we're finally here. But thank you all. Like I said, I'm gonna close out the stream. Hope you guys have a great night, and I'll yeah, find me on other streams. I'm gonna be on tour basically, on a lot of other channels, shilling this book and talking about it, healing me around, and hope you guys join on those streams as well and follow along as the campaign progresses. So thank you all.